welcome back to Schmitter's 100 Acre Woods. So again, we're out here at the Hilltop Camp. Gonna put in some water line. We have about 400 feet we're gonna put in with the trencher hopefully, and follow me as we work on that. So right up there is where we stopped the water line last time. So we're gonna start there and hopefully be able to trench all of this so we get to a culvert and stop there. So there's not a whole lot of rocks, should be pretty easy trenching. And we're finally down by all the buildings, so it's starting to look like more progress. To start out, I have to dig up the water line where we stopped last time. So digging up next to it just to get it exposed so the trencher can be backed in and put the boom down. Once that's dug out, able to back the trencher in next to the pipe, pulling it out of the way, get it started, and start trenching out. Once we get trenched out a little ways, go ahead and get the pipe and the spool of wire connected. Here you just have to connect the wire through a clevis that's down on the trencher boom. This feeds the wire right into the bottom so that it will go under the pipe. While he continues to trench, I hopped on the Mini, put the grading bucket, the ditching bucket on, and working on backfilling. Again, this is the homemade bucket that we made from a bucket that went on the front of a B tractor, cut it down, and made it so that it was a tilting bucket for a backhoe. So here ran into some rock on the trencher. Initially, we thought this was like other areas where we could just dig the rock out and be able to keep trenching. But because of the way the hill was cut, it seems to be solid rock. So here you can see the Mini's not really getting through the rock and is starting to come up. Because the trencher has rock teeth on it and some of the sandstone is soft, I thought maybe the trencher could bust through. That didn't end up being the case here. And as a test, went up about 40 feet and tried trenching this area to see how deep the rock was, if it was just a small shelf or if it was bigger. And come to find out that it was bigger, and I put my boot in the ditch just to kind of see how deep it is, and only able to get down about 10 inches or so. Alright, so we made it about 70 feet from where we stopped last time at that culvert and got into rock that was only about 2 feet deep. So since that's not really deep enough to put the water line, we trying to come up with an alternative option on what to do. So we want to end up on the left side of the road by the buildings anyway. So what we're talking about doing next go round is to dig across the drive here, get over toward where the old line is on the right hand side, where that flag is, come across. The pipe that's here is still alive and feeding these buildings. So this building here has 2 connections. We're able to find the one connection where the Mini is at now, and there's another one a little bit further back. So we're going to go back and find that one, and then we can shut this leg of the line off with a valve that's backed by the brown building behind that. We can shut that valve off, abandon this line, put our new line in, and then connect this building and the two lines that serve it, connect it to our poly line, be able to serve this building from the new line and abandon this section. So we figured that the rock all through here is going to be about 2 feet deep, and it was starting to come up even from that, so it was only about a foot deep. So getting over here, we know that's about 3 feet deep, and the water over here is about 3 feet deep, so we should have plenty of coverage to be able to do that. So the blue line there is where the water currently is, and we'll be able to tie into it there. One neat trick, if you have concrete, we were able to estimate about where this line is. So we dug it up and we know for sure it's there. We put a blue ball there so we can locate it back. If you have concrete nearby, there is a probability that the crack in the concrete is going to be where something is at. So it's going to be a weaker spot because of having a void there. But a lot of times concrete will crack. The same thing will happen with asphalt. So if you have a road crossing that's over asphalt, a lot of times there'll be a crack there because there's going to be a void from having water or something cross there. So one helpful tidbit, if you're looking for something and struggling to find it, and there's concrete or asphalt nearby, look for a crack, and if you have kind of a good guess, it can give you a starting point. Similar logic here, there's a crack back there that we're going to use as a starting point, along with where we know it's at on the inside of the building, but it comes up in the middle of the poured floor. So it's a little bit of a guess, but again, using that crack in the concrete, we can get a close estimate of where we think it's going to be. So we'll skim off a couple of feet just to get past the hard crust of the drive, and then start digging by hand and looking for a ditch so we don't rip out the water. This is some time lapse finding the first line that goes into the Campbell building. Again, scraped off the top and dug down, found it, and luckily there's quite a bit of sand around, so we put a blue ball in on top of it. Here we've moved to the other side of the building where the other water goes in. Took off the top crust and then started digging, and there was sand around the water line to help protect it, so we could find the soft spot and then dig out the sand until we found the water. Again, this is going to be an area that we need to get back to, so I'll go and grab a blue ball and put it in the ground so we can locate it again, and then fill back in that ditch. So thank you for watching the Schmider's 100 Acre Woods with the Camp Edition. If you like this video, subscribe and continue to follow as we work here at the camp.